Hey folks, welcome back. It is Lucid and we are jumping back into our game with Lemuria. We have a big turn, most likely. If you recall, the coalition against the Undying had formed. And whereas I knew, fortunately at least I knew who the coalition it was going to be. It was Bogarus and Flegra. And anyway, we got the jump on Flegra, attacked them nice and early. And so far that's been going kind of okay. But Bogarus has joined the fray, and it looked like they were going to attack me, and I had set up two defenses. One was more of a trap, the super combatant, which I was pretty sure would kill his whole army, and the second was an army of my own, which I think would have won, but would have taken some casualties. So anyway, let's see what happens. Okay, so we have the army of Bogarus on this side, and then on my side, we have a little bit of PD. I think this is maybe 10. And then we have Pendragon the Prophet, who actually is the name of the player playing Bogarus, which was not intentional, but whoops. I mean, it was intentional. I named him after the player. I just didn't put two and two together. And sorry for my voice, folks. I'm still under the weather, though feeling a bit better than before. And yeah, this is the kit we've got on him. And you might say, super combatant, just this gear? But Lucid, look what Bogarus has. He has 4 Holy 3 mages who are going to smite the shit out of him, and a bunch of heavy cav who are going to heavy lance charge him, because they've got heavy lances. How on earth could he ever survive such a horrible onslaught? Well, my friends, this is why we went with the build which we did, because we anticipated this many eons ago. We knew these fuckers were going to come, and we knew when they came, we needed to be ready. Now, there are a few things I want to point out. The first thing is that this is not my final form. This build gets... Now, I want to show you something as we get closer, and this is what I mean by this not my final form. I want you to notice what's happening here as these guys initially attack. So first of all, the banishment wave just... I think the first salvo of banishment made my PD route, which is kind of funny. Okay, so they're coming in. Okay, now look at this. Lance was repelled, broadsword was repelled, hoof was repelled. All these things are getting repelled. Repelled. Awe. Okay, here we finally got hit. I think... yeah, our defense has finally kind of gotten whittled down some. And so the repels ended up blocking a lot of the initial damaging salvo, because on the charge they get an attack bonus, which is going to get through my high defense. But a combination of the high defense, the repelling, all of that stuff, and a little bit of the awe helped to really take the edge off of a heavy lance charge. Now, we did get hit a good bit. I think we came into this fight with like 50 HP. Right, we're already down to 26. And so coming in with extra HP from being a prophet, that also helped. Us not die to the early attack. Now, what I was saying earlier about this not being our final form is this guy's size 2, and we've only got one of him per square. Which means that the repel basically has a harass penalty to it. I'm not 100% sure how the mechanics work. I think it's a separate... harass penalty for the repel that's hidden, and then you also have the harass penalty for defense, but they may be shared. Anyway, we're getting really heavily harassed here. Now, as we stack 3 consoles in the same tile, which is something I can and will do if somebody thinks they're going to sit on top of my fort, well, if I do that, then that penalty is going to get much more distributed, which means we're going to get hit much less. Also, the fear aura will percolate more, which means awe is going to be more effective. And their defense isn't going to get eroded. So defense right now, which is not really a layer of protection, that is going to be much more impactful. So yeah, it is Brave New World that will be coming. But you can see we're taking some hits. We're definitely taking some hits here. Protection, a lot of these are actually going to protection or ethereal. But occasionally we still get a repel. Yeah. And now we're in kind of a steady state where we're not quite up to 39 HP, but all the lance charges have been dealt with. Our Chillar is not going to be very effective on these guys because they've got a little bit of cold resistance. But they're not immune with 3. But it'll definitely take the edge off. And we'll go ahead and put this in fast forward mode now. And you can see we're staying really close to max HP here. So all the ways we're not in our final form. Number 1, we are not full slotted. We are using some gear that is above our current construction level, these 2 things. Number 2, we don't have the maximum number of dudes per square. Number 3, we don't have final research yet. Like, once we get 6, these guys are going to be crazier. We are going to have to... The good thing is we don't have to worry about a lot of things we're going to have to worry about later with... like, we're going to need anti-magic amulets and stuff more, but... you know, for Soul Slay and those sorts of things. So, you know, we're not out of the woods, but... Sorry, hit the thing. And they all run. Now you may think to yourself, Lucid, that was a valiant defense. Very valiant defense, but you hardly killed anybody. So that army will just come back knocking at your door. Well, to you I say, we have a battle in Melma. And this is the flanking position to the army, which has only a lone scout guarding it. Which means he was very, very vulnerable if I attacked him in the rear, which I think with Lemuria is something you should always expect, because most undead nations have very good map move, and so their ability to flank an army is very, very high. And they're going to be doing pretty good against PD. I don't think there's much he could have done to protect this flank. Now, why I say that, I'll explain, is because last turn I had a dude here that attacked up here. He had an army, a secondary army, this one, which was coming behind the primary army, but he moved it to intercept correctly. He had correctly anticipated I would attack him here. He intercepted and killed my centurions here. But doing so meant that that army could no longer follow through and protect the flank of the original army. So he had nothing really to do except PD dump, and this army was going to kill a very large PD dump. I mean, it would have killed probably a 30 PD dump. So, yeah. I don't think there was much he could have done other than plan to... Because I don't know. I mean, he would have had to have not killed my centurions here, or he would have had to have split that army potentially and sent part of it this way and part of it that way. So, that is that. Now, there were a few more battles here. We had a battle with Phalegra. Well, Phalegra sent his militia over here into Scassius. And Scassius has a few choice words for those militia. I was hoping he'd send his god, but no. I think he got these from an event, though, so he's probably just looking to get rid of them. Anyway, we chased them off. Unfortunately, in that same province where we chased them off in Spring Grove, we got attacked by more Ivy Kings. I was asking her, and I don't think anybody's gotten the kind of Ivy King luck that I've gotten. GD Throne of Gaia. So Scassius is going to go to town, you know. And for a while, it's looking like it's going to work. You know, he's 4 HP, things seem to be okay. What rank does he have? Limp. You know, probably fine. He's harassed down, though, so everything's hitting him. And these Vine Ogres, they don't do, you know, he has, what, 18, 19 protection? And so, you know, they have to get some decent RNG to punch through, but they do, eventually, and then he dies. So, unfortunately, Scassius did not hold. Now, Scassius is immortal, so he will be back in 3 months. So we will look to see him then. And then we have another battle here where Phlegra is retaking his throne, which I took from him oh so many turns ago. Now, what does he have here? He's got this guy, the Oppressor General. And then he's got this guy. Oh, shit. He already has Flaming Arrows. That's what it looks like. That is what it looks like. So we're going to have to be pretty careful. I can kill... let's watch it again. I want to see that. I didn't actually notice this the first time I watched it. I want to see what this guy casts. I wonder if he has Phoenix Power. Oh, he's just 3 to start with. Wow. I think that's a really high roll. Okay, so I think that means we have Flaming Arrows online. Now, what that is going to mean is it's going to be pretty hard for me to trade. So what is Flaming Arrows going to do? Let's take a look. I mean, I know what it does. I think it's 8 AP fire damage. We'll check. Yeah, okay, so that is going to get added to all the arrows, and this will count. This won't make the magic. This won't make the arrows magic, but this damage is magic. So if the arrow hits, but the arrow damage is negated by ethereal, the fire damage will hit and mostly kill ghosts. So very effective against ghosts. And so that's online. So he's thinking, okay, we've got it. Now, the trick will be getting him to... He only has to make the mistake about once. I need to get him to commit his fire army onto a Lemurian consul who is prepared to survive the horrors of basically massed flaming arrow crossbow. Now, if we look at it, if I do the air shield, it's going to be, you know, an 80% damage reduction. Combined with ethereal, that's going to be, you know, a further 75% damage reduction. Now we're only having to take just, you know, a few tiny hits from the crossbows. You know what I might should have done? I'm making a stone bird. I wonder if I could have done... Oh, brimstone boots are higher. Would have been good to have earlier. We're making a stone bird so that we can deal with Mouflon lance charges a little better on the guy that we're going to be putting. Basically, the next console we get, Archchronix, the console I got this time, he's going to go head over here and claim this throne. But in a turn or two, we're going to have another console, and I need him to survive this crossbow fire with flaming arrows. So if we look at it, just by the fact that it's magic damage means it's going to negate the ethereal part. So that's going to be one layer of defense the consoles aren't going to have. 22 protection is a lot, but verse 8 AP damage, I don't think it's going to additionally be piercing. It's only going to be untyped AP, or fire AP. So what that means is it's basically going to cut this in half. So it's going to be 8 versus 11, which will mean a fair amount of chip damage we'll get through. 8 versus 11, you don't need a very big dice roll to get through that. So I think what I have to have, and this is going to suck, I think what I have to have, and I think this is actually more important. I'm not sure if it's more important. How many Mouflon were there? 20? These guys also have heavy lance charges, and I would say they're a little bit better than Madruzina. They've got the headbutt instead of the hoof. Otherwise, I think they're pretty similar. Let's look. 19, 17, 16, all at 12, 12, 11. And if we compare it to the Madruzina, was... Okay, so one higher attack on these. 19, 17, 13. And what were these guys again? Okay, yeah, so the exact same damage. But these guys basically have 3 more damage on the headbutt, but 1 less attack. So I don't know, pretty comparable. Pretty comparable. But I think in order to tank this, I need a fire hat. I'm not sure. I think there's a very good chance. There's a very good chance I can survive the Mouflon without the Stonebird, but there's a very small chance that I survive Flaming Arrows without the Fire Hat. But this will go a long way, because this is going to make it now, the Flaming Arrows portion anyway, it's going to be 3 versus 11 for the roll. So it's going to be pretty hard for him to... I think we're actually going to switch that. I think we have to make that first. And so what I'm thinking we'll do is... And I don't know... Can we go here from... How far can we move? 26. What's the movement on these guys? 21. So what I'm thinking we'll do is next turn, the console that we summon, he'll be here. He can move all the way to here. The army, which I'm moving here, is going to move to mostly here. That will have part of it here. He's going to see that I'm checking his capital. He's going to have to commit everything to his capital. And what I think I'm going to do is to move my guy from here onto his capital, but not my army. My army will probably consolidate here. And I think that will work. I think that will work. Well, a risk with this is I'm not going to have any repel, because my guy's going to be carrying 2 dust daggers in case he runs into their god. It's kind of what I'm thinking. Ideally, I would have both the bird, the stone bird, and the hat, and then I would feel much more confident setting him on top. But I think we're okay with just this. Crossbows will kind of wreck this guy, though. Without... I mean, if we look at the normal damage part, it's going to be basically just the way crossbows work. Is it's a 60% reduction, or it's 60% reduction in defense versus 11 protection. So we basically do 0.4. Where are we? So we're gonna have 22 protection. And so basically what's 0.4 of this? It's going to be 2.2 times 4, which is 9. 9 protection versus 11. So on average, every time it hits, we'll take damage. So if we figure there's 100 crossbows shooting at us, they're all, on average, when they hit, going to be doing, let's say 3 damage a hit. Well, we're going to block. Let's go back to our calculator. A second. Okay, so I can't pull it up here with you, but I went and did it offline. But yeah, so basically the math is this. If there's 100 and they hit, and on average they're going to do 3 damage every time they hit. And there's 100 of them, that's like 300 damage. Then if we have air shield, which is going to block 80% of them, then that means that 300, that gets reduced to 60. But 60 damage a turn is a lot, obviously. That would kill him. But we also have ethereal, which is going to block another 3/4 of them. Right, so that 60 is now going to become 15. And then that 15 damage a turn that we would take is going to get further reduced by the dancing shield. And that is going to get us to a much more, I guess, respectable 7 damage a turn, but that's actually still over our HP regen threshold. So, but then not all 100 are going to hit. But we're getting pretty close to the territory where I'm not sure if he can make it. So we'll have to see. I'll probably actually have to test it, but we're definitely going to threaten it, just if nothing else to make space. And then potentially have a chance at killing his god. If he thinks he's going to push forward, that would be interesting. If this turn he moves here, that would be very interesting. I was considering, because this guy can make it, I could take Pendragon and move him here. And Pendragon would have a pretty good chance, I think, at killing this group. But 70, and then if he combined with these guys, you know, it could be 100 crossbowmen with flaming arrows. I think he would actually die to that. So I don't think we're going to do that. I think we're going to combine him. We're going to get the dragon helmet, which is going to give him 5 resistance and make him mostly immune to the flaming arrow part of the damage. It may be worth, instead of the, I'd have to use this guy to forge it too. I really hate using my god turns for this, but it's kind of one of the reasons we have a rainbow god. I could do a bracer of protection too, which just the additional 2 protection, that may be enough. It's only going to really be 1 protection versus crossbows. But if you think about it, we go back to that original equation. If instead of taking 3 damage on average from crossbows, I'm only taking 2, that's like a, you know, it's like a, this doesn't seem like much, but it could end up being like a 30, like a 33% reduction in the amount of damage I take. And the defense would be a little helpful for cav charges too, and the protection. So that is an option. The other option is I go for 2 consoles, and I do Shields of Valor on both of them. Or Shield of Valor on one of them. And the shield is going to give us another layer of protection against crossbow fire, because it's going to have a pretty good chance to trigger. And I do have a hide shield I could put on one of them. You know, the more I think about it, I think the 2... If I'm really going to go into, like, a couple 100 crossbows, I probably want to have 2 of them, both with arrow shield. Oh, man. It's a lot of pretender turns. We don't have any fire gem income. And I don't really have a big astral income. So we'll have to see how we do it. I don't know. But anyway, I think this is what we're going to do for this turn. We're basically moving an army here, which is going to plug its way over this way into Phlegra. We've got these idiots here who are going to come south, and they're going to just put a check on this army here. They can obviously come back and sit inside this fort if they want to. I just have them on attack rear. And then, yeah, I thought about pushing up here. I could probably send... Pendragon probably could kill this and whatever he has over this way. Which, honestly, if I'm not really going to roll out this turn, if I'm kind of bluffing, it's maybe not a bad idea. Maybe we do this and just take out his temple. He's possibly building a fort here, too. I mean, I would expect he is. And we get income from this. Maybe we do this. So I think we'll do that, and then from here he can probably, because this is... Well, mountain, no, he probably can't. Attacking Bogaroos, the reason I didn't want to do this is it's going to really delay pushing into Phlegra, and I'd rather attack Phlegra, I think. Because I have I think a much more... This is difficult territory for me to hold. The more I attack up this way, it's going to entice Satis into a war, which I don't really want to do. And then I have a real play I think I can make for Phlegra's cap. So we at least want to kind of try it. So I think that's it. The other thing we're doing, I'll just go through infrastructure real quick. We got a palisade coming up here this turn. We're building a temple. I'm recruiting a guy here so that we can hopefully build a fort here kind of soon. Because this population, while it's great, I fucked up and I killed the heretics. So anyway, it's not long for this world. And by the time the fort comes up, it's probably going to be down to like 10k, and it's going to be falling fast. So might as well go ahead and get on it. We've started a palisade construction here this turn. So we will be forting up this whole backside. And then this will be kind of like, this is our safe front and this is our war front. One of the reasons that it's kind of okay just to be at war with Lemuria is they don't want to, like, if you have a peaceful border, that's actually where Lemuria is going to build their forts. And if you don't want that, then you can just be at war with them, and at least that's something you win from it, even if it's fucking horrible like this. Because, yeah, this whole army... Oh, the thing I forgot to tell y'all was, this army, if we summed up the total value, you know, these guys are about 145 apiece. The Voyaxmen are cheap. They're like 8 apiece, but there were quite a few of them. And then the Malia Drazina, they were 40 apiece, which is quite expensive. And there were a good number of them. So when you sum up the total cost of all this, it was about 2,500. And then because we cut off the retreat route, that's basically entirely dead. So that was a pretty huge investment from him for this early in the game, and then didn't really accomplish anything at all. So that's obviously pretty good for me. Finishing up, though, on the infrastructure, we've got these forts. They're going to be upgrading this turn, and we'll probably continue that way. And like I had said before, Archchronix is heading down this way to come claim this throne. I've got... this acolyte heading over this way to build a lab here, so that anyway, as soon as we claim it, we'll be able to start producing mages and really getting our economy going. I'll have to make decisions about do I want to site search or not, or only research. We'll definitely site search this, but other than that, I'm not sure. So I think that's it for this. Yeah, I think that will be it for the turn. Thank you all for watching, and I will see you next time.